News 25 is brought to you by Dr. George Leeks, Pahrumps optometrist since 1990, offering full spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-990 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight on News 25, a driver is transported following a rollover crash, and a would-be millionaire passes away. News 25 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
An off-road driver is entrapped for hours following a rollover. It's Monday, December 10th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Mercy Air transported a patient Friday night who had been inside his car for a number of hours following a rollover accident south of Pahrump.
Friday evening, crews were dispatched for a report of a one-vehicle rollover. It was unknown exactly where the accident happened, other than it was on the dry lake bed. They attempted to use a pinging technique for the cell phones to try and determine the coordinates, and we did have some coordinates that were developed through the investigation. Crews entered the dry lake bed from Homestead Road heading south, approximately 5.5 miles out into the dry lake bed. They found the one vehicle rollover. The vehicle had no lights on it. It was in a position that the driver and the dog were entrapped in the vehicle. So our brush truck entered the dry lake bed with extrication tools because we couldn't take our heavier ambulances because of the recent rains had moistened the dry lake bed surface, and they would have sunk without the four-wheel drive capabilities. We also utilized our squads. We went out there, extricated the patient. The injuries sustained by that patient were consistent with flight, so I managed the LZ from Mercy Air 24, which was brought to the south parking lot of the Sherry's Ranch, and we managed that LZ while the patient was brought back to the hard surface. Nye County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Barukowitz assisted us in locating that patient. Completely dark out there. Again, no scene illumination by the vehicles, and without an unknown specific location, it was a little bit difficult. The cell phone did help us, basically triangulating, put us into the general area. What happened is he, at some point, just kind of gave up because of no cell service, said, Siri, call 911, and actually Siri did call 911. Wow. And it went to Metro, and then it was transferred back to us, and that's how we got the call. That patient was thought to be out on the dry lake bed in an unconscious state for several hours before he awoke to make those notifications, because nobody knew where he was, and there was no one else with him. And again, that vehicle not having any lights, and that's dark. There was no moonlight that night. It was completely dark out there. Wow. Best advice is make sure you let somebody know where you're going, what time you're leaving, what time you're expected back, and the travel route you're going to take. Therefore, if they don't hear from you, they can call 911. We can get the appropriate resources heading in that direction, following the directions that were provided. And again, if certain time frames is a great indicator to us as to where they may be.
The man who supposedly rescued Howard Hughes years ago in the desert and claimed an inheritance has died. 74-year-old Pahrump resident Melvin Dumar has passed away. The man made headlines around the world in 1976 when he was cast into the spotlight after a handwritten will was discovered at the headquarters of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City, Utah. Working at a gas station in Box Elder County, it seemed that Dumar would be a millionaire soon. Dumar was identified as the man who was listed on the will to inherit 1/16 of the fortune from Howard Hughes. News 46 spoke to Dumar in 2015 about the initial incident and the lawsuit that followed.
I am about the only one that was named in his will that never seen a penny of the Hughes estate. Almost everything else, including the Mormon Church, the Boy Scouts, the city of Long Beach, it's a lot of the universities, almost everybody that was named in the will, even a lot of these people that were so-called relatives of his got part of the estate. I'm the only one that never seen a penny of his estate.
The document named the Mormon will had been dropped off at the church. The purported will divided the Hughes estate into 16 equal shares, with one share designated for the church itself and another 16th for Melvin Dumar. Dumar's fingerprints were reportedly on the envelope. Dumar said he found Hughes here in Nevada injured, laying in a remote area.
I only spent about 3 hours with him from the the time I picked him up and I drove him back to Las Vegas and dropped him off behind the Sands Hotel. He told me who he was, but at the time I thought he was a vagrant or just an old prospector or something.
Dumar later acknowledged that he was the one who delivered the will to the church after his fingerprint was found on the envelope that contained the will. He claimed that he got the document from a mysterious stranger who brought it to the gas station. Not knowing what to do, he said he drove to the church office building and dropped it off on a desk. The story was legally discredited when a Las Vegas jury concluded that the will was a hoax. Many people still believe it, and Dumar insisted that this story was true. And as we head into this break, here's a word from the Mount Charleston Winter Alliance.
When there's snow on Mount Charleston, visitation soars. So do impacts to one of Southern Nevada's most precious outdoor spaces. Mount Charleston isn't a secret anymore. When it snows, it welcomes thousands of people each day. We all need to do our part to keep it safe and beautiful. Especially on weekends and holidays, the mountain can become too popular for its own good.
Traffic can block the highway, snowplows can't get through, people play too close to the roads, and emergency vehicles can't get through. It becomes a public safety hazard.
To make the most of your visit, plan ahead. Visit GoMountCharleston.com for news and information, or call 511 to make sure the highway is clear. For skiing and snow play, Lee Canyon is best. Remember, dress warmly, don't sled near roads or trees, and don't leave any litter behind. Help keep our winter wonderland safe and clean for everyone to enjoy.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
And welcome back. Let's join Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Tapping our news, lawmakers are expected to vote on the Farm Bill this week. The measure includes a deal for dairy farmers, a program that spreads broadband across rural areas, and, of course, trade issues. On the other side of the ocean, the British Parliament is scheduled to vote this week on Brexit. They will either accept or reject Prime Minister Theresa May's plan for decoupling with Europe. The jobs number came in below expectations, but the U.S. labor market remains strong. Morgan Stanley analysts tell MarketWatch with 78 million working Americans, Social Security may survive longer than first predicted. Right now, Social Security is said to be funded through 2034. Analysts believe it will last through Generation Z. Those are people who were born after 1997. It's official. GE's dividend is now at 1 penny per share. The quarterly dividend was cut as the company restructures. The stock is down nearly 60% for the year.
And according to Nevada Department of Transportation, the roadwork is continuing on Highway 160. The blasting resumes tomorrow, Tuesday, December 11th at 12:45 near Mount Potosi Road in Clark County as part of a $59 million, 6-mile long highway widening project. Although crews will do everything possible to reopen the highway as soon as possible, motorists can still expect up to a 2-hour delay. And no injuries were reported this morning at the scene of a 2-vehicle accident, this one at Charleston Park and Barney Street.
It was a 2-vehicle accident this morning around 6 o'clock in the morning. One car appeared to have run the stop sign, and another car heading eastbound on Charleston Park ran into it. One person was complaining of injury. They did sign AMA on the scene, negative transports.
And deputies located alcohol inside a vehicle that crashed into a wall on Blagg Road Saturday afternoon. Nye County is investigating whether the crash resulted from driving under the influence. Lieutenant Kevin Klickner from Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue explains.
On Saturday about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we were dispatched for a single vehicle MVA car that had went over a wall or into a wall. On arrival, we found the car in the middle of the road. He went up over the curb and ran into the brick wall that's along Blagg. No injuries were reported, and NCSO took care of the details of the accident.
Do you know any other reason why he went off the roadway?
It's unsure at this time. The driver originally stated he fell asleep, but NCSO is investigating further. There was 2 occupants, both denied injury.
More news when we return from this break.
News 25 is brought to you by William H. Jackson Injury Attorneys. Injured? Get Bill and Robin, your local injury attorneys.
Welcome back to News 25. County commissioners are narrowing the playing field when it comes to what projects they want to consider to be paid for by the Community Services Block Grant.
The BOCC report is sponsored by Jim Marsh Automotive of Las Vegas, Kia, Chrysler, Jeep, and Body Shop.
Public meeting 1, discuss eligible projects based on CDBG decisions, and 2, prioritize the following applications for submittal: Pahrump Fairgrounds drainage study.
This was the only application that was deemed as eligible. Of all of the proposals that we submitted, CDBG mainly now today is looking at economic development and jobs created. Yes. So if there aren't any jobs created, they're pushing them aside. So Jean Barrett with the state of Nevada excuse me, has opened up her resources. So if anybody would like to contact her, I'd be more than happy to connect the two to discuss proposals for future potential projects. But at this time, the only thing that they're really looking at is things that will create jobs. The other projects, such as the animal shelter, the spay and neuter clinic, the no to abuse, those ones were deemed as not eligible because it's mostly going to create volunteer positions, and that doesn't really create economic development in the town or in the county. So the detention basin, that one has significant impact to economic development because not only does it create short-term jobs in constructing the detention basin, but it will also lead to full-time jobs once the fairgrounds is up and running with all of the commercial buildings and things of that nature.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to put forward the Pahrump Fairgrounds retention basin. I think this is a good project. It gets us moving on more to finish there. I know we have the funding source now, so let me just stop there and say I'll make a motion to put that forward.
Second.
Motion on the forward to bring forward the Pahrump Fairgrounds detention study. Further discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes,
Tricor did engineering studies many years ago, and we keep doing one study after another on drainage, and they've already done it. We paid for it a long time ago. Why do we have to keep coming up and doing another drainage study?
So it's going to be the construction of the detention basin.
Okay.
Based on the flood control design plans, we would then bring in a crew to construct the detention.
Now, would it be put on the fairgrounds property?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Did we vote?
All right.
On this yet, have we? I have a motion.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed say nay. Everybody voted yes.
Well, here's China Parker with the dog available at Desert Haven.
Save a Pet is sponsored by Jim Marsh Automotive, Las Vegas.
I'm down here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and I just met with Raiden. Raiden is a beautiful 1-year-old white and brown American Staffordshire Terrier, and he is looking for a loving home. Raiden has lots of energy. He would be perfect for an active person or active family. If you would like to meet Raiden or any of his friends, you can come down to Desert Haven Animal Society on Siri Lane, down behind the Nye County Courthouse off of Basin Avenue, or you can go to their website at deserthavenas.org or their Facebook at Desert Haven Animal Society.
News 46 Weather Cam is brought to you by Glenn Lerner Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Well, let's take a look outside. I know earlier this evening I was looking up there at the mountain and all the snow on the hill and smelling the smoke from the chimneys, and it was so wonderful. Right now we have dark skies with a little twinkling there. I think some Christmas lights. We'll find out more about our weather forecast right after this break.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Hello and welcome back to News 46. I'm Michael Donahue. Today's highs in Pahrump, 62 degrees, 60 degrees in Amargosa, 70 Death Valley, 57 in Beatty, 45 in Goldfield and Tonopah, and 36 and 38 in Fallon and Fernley. For tonight, 38 degrees in Pahrump and Amargosa, 49 in Death Valley, 35 Beatty, 23 Goldfield, 21 Tonopah, and 25 and 26 up there in Fallon and Fernley. Tonight in Pahrump, we're expecting cloudy skies, a low of 38 degrees. Our average is 32. Sunset at 4:29 p.m. Winds out of the east-northeast at 5 miles per hour, gusts up to 7, and our humidity at 44%. For tomorrow, we're expecting sunny skies, a high of 62, a low of 36. Our UV index hasn't changed, it's at 2. Sunrise at 6:44 a.m. Winds out of the north-northeast at 7 miles per hour, 9 mile per hour gusts, and 51% for the humidity. For the 7-day, looks like we're just going to have scattered clouds all throughout the week, but Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, we're expecting those sunny skies. For temperatures, we're going to be in those high 50s and low 60s all week long, just between about 57 through 63 degrees all week. And our overnights, we're still going to be hanging out in those mid to high 30s. So back to the desk with Deanna.
Thanks so much, Michael. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell from all of us here at KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.